Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Nasradu and I'm going to tell you today what you have to expect when you get into simulator and especially into enduring confrontation. I want to present this game mode to you so you know maybe when you're sitting at the fence thinking about getting into simulator, or if you have any problems with getting into this mode, I will give you some first-hand informations, and I'm going to explain to you how you set up your your lineup, where to find the enduring confrontation battles, how to know where to participate, and all these things. Because as everything in War Thunder, this is just not explained at all. Yeah, let's start maybe with a short explanation of the game mode itself. Enduring Confrontation is different than arcade and RB, not just by the way that you are moving your aircraft. So it's not the controls as just one thing that is different. It is the mission design and the setup of the games itself. Enduring Confrontation maps are rather huge. There are, I don't know, 64 times 64 kilometers, something like this. And they are set up to last up to 3 hours. Well, um, even though you can just hop into the games even after they have started. There are some conditions to be looked at, but you can get into the game at any time and you can leave the game at any time. And the only thing that you have to know when you leave a game early before it ends is that you have to wait until the game finally ends to see your result screen. The silver lines will be calculated just immediately, but the final RP will be shown when the game is finally over. But that is something that you already know, maybe from the other games. When you leave a realistic battle or arcade battle early, you will have to wait until the game ends to see your final result. All right. Let's maybe start with where to find the enduring confrontation battles, because they are, for whatever reason, somehow hidden. Usually, maybe when you play RB and AB, you use this screen to switch between the battles. You can have here, you can put simulator battles here, but if you just click to battle, you will be thrown in a random battle, and this could be over. This could be, I don't know, you have maybe a plane in the wrong BR setting, and you maybe then have just one plane in the game. So we want to make sure that we're getting the battle that we want, and that's why we click here on the events and tournaments tab, and you see this screen opening here. When you now hit take part, it has the same effect as when you do it when you hit to battle. You will be thrown into a random battle, but we don't want that. So we have here on the left side different events and simulator battles, and you will see here air simulator battles. You can now choose the server that is best for your ping, and you have the button Room List. When you click on Room List, you will see all the ongoing battles. All right, and we have here on top something written: rooms created by players. I will cover this in a second. When I close this, we have the regular enduring confrontation battles that are set up by Gaijin itself. You see here in that list a lot of maps. You can click through it and then see what's going on. And you will not only have enduring confrontation battles, you also have operations. Operations are more like RB mission design with arcade spawn rules. That means that you can get into there, you start from the runway, but you can use your complete lineup until nothing is left, like you know it from arcade battles. And the enduring confrontation battles here are always beginning with a number. So this is giving you the EC bracket. So we have from 1 to 6, always different brackets. If you click on a specific game, you will see here on this side the required vehicles and what is allowed. You see here we have an 2 enduring confrontation on the map Stalingrad Winter, and you are allowed to take planes from 10 to 3.3. So the BR that is meant to be played here is 2.3 to 3.3, but you can always use a plane that is lower than the minimum BR. If we click on a game with a 1 here, the bracket number 1, it's 1.0 to 2.0. And this is going all through the different BRs. Enduring confrontation 3 is 3.7 to 4.7, 4 is 5.0 to 6.3, and then we have 5 and 6. 5 is the early jets from 6.7 to 7.7, and 6 is top tier from 8.0 to 10.0. All right. What I can recommend to you is to set up different presets so you don't have to like switch all the different planes when you can't find for example can't find an enduring confrontation number 3, and then you just have, or you can't find the 2 and you have to play a 3. You can just quickly switch in between those presets. Yes. All right, so now we have to decide what we want to play, or maybe let's just cover this rooms created by players part here. You can do waggers, and you can do waggers in the enduring confrontations, but only in rooms that are created by players. They do count as random battles for whatever reason only Gaijin knows, but if you want to play a wagger, you can do this also in simulator, but you have to make sure that you're using a room created by players, and then you can play all these different waggers here. You just have to know that a game can last for like 2 or maybe even 3 hours. So if you have something that has 10 stages, it will take some time to complete it. But it's possible to achieve these things, but not all of the waggers. So there are just, I don't know, 2 or 3 waggers that are really making sense in these games. This is maybe the shoot 10 planes wagger, this one here. In simulator, it's a multiplayer of 2, so you only have to shoot 5 players to achieve a stage. And maybe also the Thunderer wagger, where you can just crush ground targets, but the other ones, Hero of the Sky, if you're very experienced, you can try this too. But with 10 stages and 2 hours per game, not all of these are making sense. But you can do them, and you can also do Golden Battle Wagger. So if you have some experience and know when you see a game who is going to win this, probably, you could also activate those. Right, but let's get back to this. Okay, so what is happening? We decide for one of our EC brackets. Then we are looking for a game, and you now can also have a look on who is in there, and how long this one is ongoing already. If you play EC5 or EC6, I can recommend that you look for battles that have just started, If they are in progress for like 2 hours and 30 minutes, I think if we enter this one now, it's close to over. So always have a look at the time, especially when you use boosters, because of course you can also use all of your boosters in during confrontations. Most of them will then be active for the first 30 minutes, which is a little bit dumb because yeah, you have to start with your lowest BR plane, but we will get to this in a second. All right. Yeah, let's just hop into one of these games. Maybe this one. This is what you see when you enter the Enduring Confrontation game. You see that not all of the aircrafts that you have in your lineup are allowed to use from the start. It's grayed out, not enough spawn points. That's because you are starting with 200 spawn points, and with action in the battle, you can build up more spawn points to then spawn the higher BR planes. What you can always spawn is the lowest. So if the match is 8.0 to 10.0, you can always get into the game with an 8.0. In EC6, you can also always go into the game with an 8.3, which does cost you 60 SP. And with all the other planes that have a higher BR, like 9.0, in case you die, you will see a timer there. The timer can be between 5 and 30 minutes. This is depending on what BR the plane has that you just lost. And for example, the F100D, if you crash it, if you get shot, if you if you J out mid-air, you will have a timer, like a cooldown of 30 minutes, which is the maximum. And at this point, maybe let's talk about the boosters one more time. If you activate the booster, I told you it's only 30 minutes until it will expire. And yeah, there's one of the problems with simulator. If you want to use high value booster, you cannot always use them on your top BR plane, which is a little bit sad. So if you know how to achieve a lot of spawn points fast, you can risk it. But sometimes you will have just a game where you don't come into the top BR plane in time, and yeah, so playing 300% boosters is a little bit of gamble in during confrontations. All right, and here we are on the runway. And on the runway, you can also leave the game after you return from your mission. You can do different things. You will see here on the bottom left the mission objectives. You will see different tasks there. So you can get into the game and just like fly around looking for air targets to fight with, or you can go after the tasks that are given here. For example, destroy the bombers at B6. Then you have to have a look at the grid, and you know the bombers are somewhere here. You should now take off and try to intercept them, or win air supremacy at D2, which is this square here, where you can see a air supremacy point. It's just like air domination, is it called, I think, from arcade battles, where you have to cover the airspace with at least one more airplane than the enemy has. And when you have taken it over, I think if you do it alone, it's at maximum 8 minutes that you have to spend here. You will get some points to your victory points account, which you see on the bottom left. The red ones have 63 mission points or victory points, and blue has 8,258. And this is very often the sum of what you see here plus, yeah, you can see red has 63. They have not achieved that much right now. It's the sum of the score points plus bonus points that you get for achieving or doing these tasks in this section here. And these tasks are rewarded between 1,000 and I think 5, or is it 6,000 at maximum, but about 5,000 points for some tasks, like winning air supremacy at D2 in this example. Those air supremacies can be all over the map, and after this there will be a ground battle going on. But we will have a closer look on the different objectives in another video. Yeah, well, but what I wanted to tell you is that if you go out, shoot some planes, you will get more spawn points. Then you can return to base, land your aircraft, repair, J out, and then hop into another aircraft of your lineup. And the one that you have landed and that you parked there by J'ing out will be paid and usable later if you lose one of the other ones. If you lose a plane and you want to spawn it again, you have then again to pay the half of the max repair costs. If you land and J out and change the plane, you don't have to pay again. But if you lose a plane, you will always have to pay half of the repair cost, and you see that this can vary from like 4,000 here for the Banshee and 25,000 for a bomber, or 10,000 for example for the F100. So okay, we will get kicked in a second for not being active. If you land your plane, repair, and stand there, you can stay there forever. We should have done that maybe. Alright, but I think this is a good opportunity to have a look at creating your own enduring confrontation, because this is also possible. You can create a session by clicking on that blue button here. You can select the server, the battle rating, which is the different brackets that we have, EC1 to EC6. You can choose who is going to play against who. So you can choose nations just by clicking, unclicking, and reclicking. You can do stupid things here. If you want to have people in that game, make sure you don't do a completely stupid lineup. So something a little bit realistic, and then you hit create session. Now you will see this screen here, and you now have to wait until 2 players spawn or participate for each side, and then the battle will start. If we can't find 2 players within 2 minutes after creating it, it will then activate a like 20-minute timer. And if this one is then expired, this battle will be closed again. And you can see this battle now in the list that I showed you before. Alright, at this point I think we have covered everything about where to find and how to get into enduring confrontations. In the next videos I want to show you the tasks a little bit more in detail, and I will give you some tips for a good starter plane in different enduring confrontation brackets. So we will try to cover all the things that you need when you are new to simulator and new to EC, and if you don't want to miss it, it's a good opportunity now to hit that subscribe button. Alright, And I think that's it for today. As I told you, it's the start of the series, and I would really appreciate to see you in the next video. Until then, I wish you a pleasant day and see you in the skies. Bye bye.